I'm going to tell you today, because I'm not a company that's trying to sell you a pill or a remedy or something that heals or cures your period pains. I'm just a regular human that cares that you're aware about your body and what goes on inside of it so that you can live your best life. That you don't just need to be popping paracetamol or NSAIDs or other pain relievers, though those can definitely help, or take the pill for period pains, which definitely won't help you in the long run. I'm going to tell you why we get menstrual pain, why it's actually not normal, and basically how you can manage it, how you can make certain lifestyle changes that are going to help you when you're on your period to not experience such intense period cramps, period pains, also known as primary dysmenorrhea. So we're going to start with this study here, which was published by a Turkish research team, which looked at the relationship between menstrual cycle and cognitive function in women with primary dysmenorrhea. They looked at specifically how the pain levels on each day of the period varied, and how on those more painful days, how that affected the cognitive function of those women. So they assessed 134 females that were admitted to their hospital. Of that 134, 46 were used in the actual study itself. And basically they found, as we can probably guess, that on the most painful day of these women's periods, there was a significant decrease in their phonemic and semantic fluency on the most painful days, and these have to do with language, so communication skills, a significant decrease in instant memory and complex attention function, and a decrease in logical memory on the most painful day of their period, as you can see in this table below. So basically from this study we can see it, menstrual pain has legitimate repercussions. If it's not just neurological, the way that you communicate and the way that you can actually function on those super painful days of your period, it's everything else that it affects, like you socializing, participating in sport, going to the gym, actually moving and doing things. So despite what you read on the internet, which is that period pains are normal. Yes, I asked Google if primary dysmenorrhea is normal. Yes, primary dysmenorrhea, or painful menstruation in the absence of pelvic pathology, is a common and often debilitating condition affecting a significant portion of menstruating women and is considered a normal part of the menstrual cycle. Wow. I just want to preface here that it is normal and considered normal because most women experience it. So it's considered a normal part of the menstrual cycle. Is it really normal? Should we all actually be feeling these menstrual pains and debilitating conditions when we're menstruating? Why would your body want to hurt you? Literally think about that for a second. When you feel pain in your body, a headache, a stomach ache, an ache in your bone or in your muscle, a pain exists because the origin of the pain needs attention. It's painful because it's basically shouting and speaking in the way that it knows to get your attention. It's there for a reason. You shouldn't experience headaches all the time. Stomach ache, you shouldn't experience stomach aches all the time. You know, as an adult, what to do when you have a headache that makes the headache go away, or the potential causes of a headache, i.e. a hangover or dehydration, and you know the ways to fix that and cure that for yourself. It's the same with menstrual cramps. I'm sorry, I'm going to break the internet right now. And I just want to say also that I'm specifically referring to primary dysmenorrhea. Secondary dysmenorrhea means that there's an underlying condition, so endometriosis, PCOS, or something else that's actually causing those painful periods. So what actually is period pain? There's a few reasons behind why, and if we can understand why that pain happens, we can get into creating or managing certain lifestyle factors that are going to help mitigate and control those cramps and those pains that we feel, if you get me. Oh my god. So the first reason we've got is prostaglandin overproduction. Prostaglandins are hormone-like substances that essentially help the uterus contract during menstruation. We know that menstruation is the shedding of the uterine lining, so prostaglandins help the uterine contract that pushes out that unneeded tissue. Higher levels of prostaglandins lead to higher, stronger contractions. The second reason are hormonal imbalances. Low progesterone can lead to estrogen dominance, which causes a greater thickening in the uterine lining. Estrogen is anabolic. Anabolic means it grows, it thickens. Estrogen is actually responsible for the thickening of the lining, and then progesterone manages and keeps it thick, manages and maintains it. So if you've got estrogen dominance, you've got a thicker uterine lining because it's responsible for the thickening of the lining, so more tissue to shed. Couple that with more prostaglandins and more contractions and everything. So estrogen dominance and too low progesterone could be a really big reason why you're getting menstrual cramps so bad. So you've got prostaglandin overproduction and a hormonal imbalance. The third one is inflammation in general. So those lifestyle factors that can affect inflammation, stress, diet, all of those can affect the severity and the intensity of the inflammation and the pain that you're going to feel in your abdomen whilst you're on your period. The fourth one, tight muscles, stress, lack of movement can restrict blood flow to the uterus. That, again, oxygen starvation, and that's going to worsen your cramps down there too. And then the fifth one, but this goes into secondary dysmenorrhea, which I spoke about before, is any underlying conditions. So we don't want to rule those out as a potential cause for your menstrual pain, but those could potentially be a reason which you should get checked up by your doctor. So knowing what we know now, the reasons for menstrual pain or period pain, which were overproduction of prostaglandins, hormonal imbalance, so too low progesterone, excess estrogen, inflammation, and not enough movement or stiff pelvic region, we can use those to adapt lifestyle and basically see if that does improve your symptoms. So the first one, prostaglandins. How can we lower prostaglandins naturally? Omega-3 fatty acids, so your salmon, your flax seeds, your walnuts, magnesium, and other anti-inflammatory foods can lower your prostaglandins, like turmeric's a great one too. Hormonal imbalance was the second potential cause for primary dysmenorrhea. So that low progesterone, how can we boost the progesterone levels? This does come down to cycle syncing and syncing your activity, so your workouts, your nutrition and your foods, reducing stress, consuming lots of healthy fats that encourages progesterone production. And here on the screen are some progesterone supporting foods that you can eat to help naturally increase your progesterone levels. The other hormonal balance was excess estrogen, which we can reduce excess estrogen or help the body eliminate excess estrogen by itself by eating cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli sprouts are outrageously high in this very difficult to pronounce word that I've put on the screen, but you've also got broccoli itself, kale, cauliflower, cabbage, all of those contain, and as well as increasing your fiber intake, which can help the liver metabolize excess estrogen. The third one was inflammation in general. So it depends where that inflammation comes from. If you're in a stressful job, try practicing yoga, meditation, generally reducing your stress as you know best to, winding down before bed, getting a good night's sleep. Through diet, you can prioritize whole foods, reduce your processed food intake, eat lots of fruit and vegetables, stay away from inflammatory foods, so dairy, sugar, gluten. Those can all have a stressful impact on your GI tract, and in general lower inflammation in the body. Lower inflammation is going to reduce your pain sensitivity and the intensity of the cramps, so that can be a big one for quite a few people. The fifth one was the circulation, so tight pelvic muscles. That's basically just move. When you're on your period, I know it's probably the last thing you feel like doing is getting out of bed, especially when you've got debilitating cramps. But hot water bottle or hot patches on your front and your abdomen and your back can really help loosen those tight muscles, as well as some simple like cat-cows, some yoga positions, just wiggling your pelvis around, forward and backward motion, really slow and gentle to activate those pelvic muscles. And that's just going to get blood flow, oxygen going to that region, and that should loosen things up as well as improving the cramps. So hopefully that is helpful in understanding where period pain actually comes from, that it's not normal. It's normal because a lot of people experience it for 5 to 7 days out of the month, experiencing these cramps that affect memory, that affect brain and cognition, that are so painful that you don't want to move or get out of bed or have to get a sick note to get off work. This is a big thing. For women, it's not nice, but what I hate to say, and doctors and people will generally want to sell you a product or a pill or a drug or make you go on the oral contraceptive pill or something to make it go away. In today's modern world, it is so common because a lot of these things that I've just outlined are fairly easy to slip into. Hormonal imbalance, inflammation due to stress, diet, lifestyle, not enough movement in that pelvic region, too many prostaglandins. These are things that are very likely to be occurring within quite a few people, which adds up to the massive percentage of women who do experience these incredibly painful periods. So there's the science. I'd love for you to give it a try. Hopefully you understand that and now you understand a little bit more about your body and where it might come from. Please remember your body doesn't want to hurt you. Purely painful because it's trying to tell you something. So there's an imbalance in your hormones. You're inflamed. You need to change something about your diet and your lifestyle. There might be too many prostaglandins, which you can try and lower naturally with some foods, so some fatty acids, magnesium, anti-inflammatory foods. You don't just have to take the pill or paracetamol every month. Take control of your body, understand what it's going through, understand what it needs, and I hope that was helpful. See you next time.